We got up before dark just to bring you
Top of the morning from beautiful downtown Boston.
Good morning, I'm Steve Isaiah. This is Top of the Morning. We're here this morning at the American Visionary Museum with Rebecca Hofberger, founder and director, executive director. I want to make sure I get this right.
Right.
Okay, good. We have a very special conference this morning. You're going to love what you see. Would you tell us a little bit about what our viewers are going to see today?
Yes, there are more than 1,500 books written on the end of the Mayan calendar, most of them oriented to fear and destruction. And I thought it was very important to have a conference at the very beginning of 2012, gathering the prophetic traditions from all over the world, to be able to bring them here and speak from their hearts what their ancestors have said about these times, and then have the top, most caring, most passionate environmental scientists speak about the state of our world. There's no preaching today, there's just simply statement of fact. For example, Dr. Susan Shaw is the foremost ocean toxicologist, and she will bring up that at this point there's not one cup of seawater anywhere on the earth that won't evidence microscopic pieces of plastic. But the way that we have altered this world, now that we're 7 billion people, has great implications for all of us. So this is a very love and caring centered conference where we hear people from West Africa traditions, from various Native American, Kiowa, also the Huichol, Peruvian Inca, and even Mayan descendants speak about what they understand where we are as a humanity on this earth at this time.
Rebecca, some of our viewers out there have probably read in the mainstream media that the Mayans had a big stone calendar and that it ends in 2012. And a lot of people want to know, does that mean it's the end of the world, or did they just run out of stone? There was no more room to carve any of the dates. I mean, this calendar is what, thousands of years old?
Correct. And it's not, until computers, it was the most accurate form of telling time, down to even every eclipse, etc. So the Mayans were very intelligent about how we mark time, even by modern standards. But it's just in the same way a new millennium was not the end. This end of this age, that the long count is what they refer to it, it does not mean the end of existence. I actually don't think that there is such a thing as an end to existence. I think we come as little sparks of the divine, and as sparks of the divine, if you're part of something infinite, you yourself are infinite. So I do think there will be big changes, because there already have been big changes. We look at Fukushima and the amount of radiation that has gone out. There are very big concerns. Our ocean, our epidemiologist, Dr. Shira Kramer, was mentioning that we now have over 90,000 new chemicals that did not exist on the earth. They're human-made. And of those 90,000 new chemicals in our water, our air, our clothing, our soils, our food, less than 2,000 have ever been tested at all. And most of those not on how it impacts in combination with other things, etc. So it's this is a time for just speaking truth and doing so very lovingly, because we have big work ahead of us.
Well, you mentioned all these chemicals and
Yes.
some that have potential to cause some real problem. Some of our viewers may be saying, well, what can I do? I'm just only one person. What can they do to help in a situation like this?
I think there are many things that we can do, and one is really a demand that not just to make jobs, that we have that we set a standard of regulation.
This is a great conference, a lot of interesting speakers. What do you hope the outcome is?
I think it's the first time that anyone has gathered people who have lived without abusing the earth and who come from an earth-centric, loving culture from all different native peoples, with scientists who, with all the modern technology and education, are just as passionate.
We're still setting up, folks.
Yeah, just as passionate about and caring about life for human beings and care and respect for nature. There's only one Earth, and I think that this today begins an honest dialogue. It is true in the sense of South Africa's a great achievement, truth and reconciliation. It's not blaming industries. It's saying, let's just find out where we are.
As executive director, I know you've got a lot to do. We're going to let you go, but how about just a quick plug for the American Visionary Museum?
Well, the American Visionary Art Museum is devoted to intuition, to listening within, and this conference is a perfect expression. I think it's the most amazing conference we've had in all 16 years of our National Museum being pretty darn amazing.
Rebecca, thank you very much for your time. We know you have a lot to do. The American Visionary Art Museum, downtown Inner Harbor, Baltimore. Please come down and see it. It is a marvelous place. Rebecca, again, thank you very much.
Pleasure to be with you.
Look forward to the conference.
Ekabo means welcome. If I say Ekabo, you say, oh, Ekabo. A little bit more power, Ekabo. I do bang. And I want to give thanks to my mermaids over there. When I came in, whenever we leave, Umi sends me a sign that things are well. And our big mama said things are well, and things are well. My name is Iomi Tayo, and I am the wife of Orumila. Orumila is God on earth in our tradition, who came to give the word of God. I'm also the daughter of the Mamiwatas, the wife of the Mamiwatas. And excuse me, if you didn't get it, Baba is a holy man. You and your wife. He's a holy man. He just doesn't say it because holy people don't say we're holy. Right? But he is. You have children you don't like, you either put them out or you love them. Really, like this is 2012. It's 2012. If you drink a little too much, just moderate. If you just not like really, you know, like, okay, it's not on my plan this lifetime to quit drinking, manage it, and move on. All that fitna, gotta do this to be worthy of. If you know truly holy people and true elders, they are all so interesting. They all have these strange little, am I not correct? Strange little idiosyncrasies and things that are, it matters not. It matters not. You go to my elders, and the gin starts flying, they will drink it, but then the prophecy really starts coming. So don't judge. Omio.
Esa gente que vivía antes,
These people can live before.
podían hacer todo
They can do everything, anything,
con la pura mente,
only with the mind, with the king.
se comunicaban a todas partes,
They can talk with the
estando
mind.
donde mismo.
Wherever they can communicate with everybody.
I'm here with Elizabeth Kramer and Macario, is that right? Carrillo? All right, I need to work on my accent a little bit here. We're at the 2012 ECO Conference. You two have a very interesting table. Can you tell us about some of the things that are over there?
It's something that is the art that represents their culture. And this is the Huichol culture. Huichol Mayari in Mexico.
Macario is wearing a very interesting piece. Can we have a little history on this?
Dice que si le puede decir algo de esta pieza que usted que lleva y que está linda.
Son adornos.
These are adornments that they wear. ¿Pero qué significa?
La parte central son los continentes.
The central part of it is the continents.
Son los puntos sagrados que nosotros tenemos.
These are the sacred points that the Huichols have.
Representa el ojo de Dios.
It represents the eye of God.
And the angel, is this a specific angel?
Y el ángel,
Representa la mujer.
the angel represents the woman, the female.
Any particular woman or just a woman in general?
Representa.
Es el símbolo de la mujer es importante.
Is the symbol of female because the female is so important.
This is a very colorful adornment. Can we have a little history of
This is their vestment, what they have always worn. ¿Y el sombrero? Todo, pero ¿qué significa eso? It's just adornments.
And in terms of the geographic area, what part of the world does this represent? Is this from somewhere in South America or Mexico? Mexico, and then what part?
¿En qué parte de México?
Mayari.
Mayari is Mexico, and it's a particular tribe, the Huichols.
Okay. And what part of Mexico?
Jalisco.
Jalisco. In the conference today, some of the items that you have on the table over there, I see it looks like some snakes or some very colorful snakes.
They like to represent the animals that are in the area where they live, because the earth is alive. And for example, the snake is something that is alive in the earth.
Macario, muchas gracias por su tiempo.
Muchas gracias.
Elizabeth, thank you very much for translating us.
With Macario's village in the sacred mountains of the Sierra Madre. Several years ago, the Mexican government sold off their mineral rights of their most valued precious mountains to a Canadian mining company, with devastating results to people in his village and on the ground. This is something that's also been happening in our country.
Like quite a bit of it is happening right now, and I'm doing everything I can as a journalist to help inform the American people of where their electricity comes from and how we get it. And it's just a dastardly method that is destroying the land and people of Appalachia.
So what's the solution? I mean, is there a difficult choice between energy and ecology, or how do you navigate between the two?
There's no choice in this case. Coal is its reign is over. It helped industrialize our nation, of course, but we need to immediately transition out of coal and pursue renewable, clean energies like solar and wind. I think that we have the brain power and the capacity to do that as a nation, and we just have to break the bad habit of coal and really think about the future and our children.
So when you see that advertisement on television that says clean coal, you wouldn't necessarily subscribe to clean coal then?
There's no such thing as clean coal.
Okay.
No, that doesn't exist. As soon as you disturb the coal, you release practically every element on the periodic table, because almost every element is in coal. And once you disturb it, all those heavy metals go into the air and into the water, and it's very bad. And frankly, we don't have to go underground and dig out this 18th century fuel any longer. I think we can do it in another way that's cleaner, that actually provides more jobs instead of, modern coal mining is mostly done by machine. So, we need to change.
What are some of the things that you've done recently? Some recent articles, perhaps? What are you doing to lead this fight then?
Well, I recently published a 74-page photojournalistic essay called Dragline. It won the Robert F. Kennedy Journalism Prize in 2011. And I'm just so proud to be recognized by Robert Kennedy, whose work in Appalachia and concern for the land and people. I feel very close to that idea and ideals. And mostly publishing in newspapers and magazines, the Wall Street Journal, Rolling Stone. I recently sold pictures to Scholastic. They're doing a new textbook about environmental science in a changing world, reflecting information like mountaintop removal coal mining using my photographs. So that is really a cool thing to have it in the textbooks for the kids who are coming up through college, and we can actually see the proof, because really the coal industry does so much to make us all believe and say that coal is clean or that this is actually a viable option that provides a lot of jobs, when that's totally false. They are just very powerful and entrenched, and no match for the regular old hillbilly in West Virginia, who just wants to keep the well water clean.
Right.
So I really think it's an important cause and issue, and it's germane to everyone in the world. It's a global issue. So our mountains have been clear cut, have been shorn of all the trees, all the flora and fauna, and then blasted. The overburden, the rock and the soil and all the habitat has been clawed off, and then bombs planted in the rock, and the mountains blown up, taken down 900 feet. And where does all that go? Into the valley below.
I'm here with Audrey Scott Williams. She's the author of Now Time Prophecy, a very interesting book. But in your own words, what's it about?
Well, the Diary of Now Time Prophecies is about a series of dreams that are considered a riddle for this time. It includes prophetic statements, as well as it takes you into your own dream spell and allows each person to come to that center, that heart center, which is truly where the answers for what we need reside.
Can you give us an example of a particular statement?
Sure. One of the statements that I think is very apropos is about living with people. And in that statement, the grandmothers, who are the angels that I've channeled all my life, my bosses in the spirit realm, always say, live your truth, know your truth, not someone else's idea of your truth. And when you are in relationship with others, not to try to force them into your truth, but allow them to emerge and to evolve as well. So it's that sense of mutuality, common connectedness, and the sacredness of relationship.
For our viewers out there who might be saying, gosh, that sounds great in theory, how in my own personal life might I put that into practice?
One step at a time, going deep, really, no, that's really what it is. Our culture teaches us to go so fast through things. The Diary of Now Time Prophecy in the work is based on the subtle energy, the fact that there's a subtle force in the universe that's going through all of us. We're just moving too fast to connect. And so to slow down, meditation is great. Everyone should have some kind of spiritual practice, because it connects us to an understanding of a force greater than ourselves. And in that, and in those silent spaces of meditation, we find the simple truths that can guide us, can direct us to where our purpose is. And then it's up to us to build the courage to step out of a fear-based consciousness into a consciousness of love and compassion, to be able to truly live into who it is we are here to be in the first place.
It sounds like a great book. How can I find it or buy it?
Actually, right now, we have just sold our last book. We are getting ready to go into a reprint, the second reprint of the book, and it should be available in the spring. And they can go to my website, which is AudreyScottWilliams.com, and that's AUDRI, ScottWilliams.com.
That sounds great. I want to thank you for your time. I'm looking forward to hearing you speak. I'm sure it's going to be fascinating.
Well, thank you so much.
Ms. Williams, thank you very much.
Even in utero, we are embryos, that the effects can not only be lifelong for ourselves, but can then be transferred to our children who are never directly exposed because of either changes in our genetic material or changes to the way our genes are expressed. in multiple generations. This whole field of epigenetics, which has to do with the regulation of genes turning on, turning off, which genes are active at what time. It's a very, very exquisitely sensitive process, and exposures that we sustain at various ages in our lifetimes can have ramifications on successive generations without direct exposures to them. Human health is linked to a healthy environment. And I'd like to close with a quote from Jimmy Carter, who said that the awareness that health is dependent upon habits that we control makes us the first generation in history that to a large extent determines its own destiny. It's important for us to take action, become educated, be aware. Thank you.
Wonderful thing. Allison, tell us about your part in it.
I just got through saying that I'm not a big part of it, and we're thankful to be here and big fans of the American Visionary Art Museum. We used to do bazaar art, and now we are locals, Brian Dowdle and Allison Spiesman.
Tell us a little bit about what you're wearing. You probably are one of the more colorful people here.
Interesting. We found these in bags of clothes and plaid bags as we moved up here. This actually belongs to Brian, and I'm not sure. It looks like it's handmade.
We're here with Brian Dowdle. Brian, we are here at the 2012 Eco Conference. We've been over to your booth here. You have some very interesting material. Let's just, for our viewers, start out and in general, tell us about yourself first and then what you do.
Okay, actually my partner and I, Allison, we just moved to Baltimore. So I do animal, spirit, and goddess paintings, and I do everything on recycled materials, cardboard, pizza boxes, beer cases, 6-packs, sand. I do sand paintings, animal, spirit, goddess paintings on paper bags with sand from the beach, and also from Montana. There's a black slag that's like glass sand that I use for images of the certain goddesses. I've been doing this for 33 and a half years. Living, 6 blocks from the wilderness in Montana when I was little, so I always had a bond with nature and animals. The animals.
It's www. And then you're
Brian, B-R-I-A-N, Dowdle, D-O-W-A-L-L, art.com. And that has everything on it.
That has everything on it.
Except my email is not working. My phone is. Okay.
All right, so the phone number is on the website.
It is. Yes, thank you.
Excellent. All right, well that sounds good, and I'll bet you'll find some interesting things out there.
It's a fun, easy to get in and out of and move around and colorful website.
Excellent. Brian, thank you very much. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
I'm sorry, we're running a little bit behind, but I do want you to come. You come from the Mamiwata and Yoruba tradition. You bring West Africa to us. And also water. I'm so glad.
Good morning. My name is Sean Blair. When Rebecca first said she was going to bring me up to view my dream catcher that I had in her museum there, I was like, okay, cool. I'll go out there and see it. And then there was, oh yes, you're going to give a speech too. So I didn't know. In the native world, we've also been told there's going to be several circles come together of all people from all over the world. And I see people from all over the world here. And those people are the ones that are going to educate the others outside. So next time, maybe our circle will be bigger, stronger, and we're going to get this knowledge to slow down this process of the end that's coming for the change. It's not going to be the end, it's going to be the beginning of something better. So I pray that these circles will grow more and more, and I'd really like to thank Rebecca for bringing us here today. Thank you.
Which is why this conference is such a great thing to bring us together. Great speakers, great ideas. And I just want to say, when you come to a conference like this, if you leave afterwards a little better educated, that's great. You learn a little bit more about the challenges, the environmental challenges, that's great. If you leave a little bit inspired, you were like uplifted by the tears and the laughter and all the great emotions that you experienced, you were inspired, that's great. But if that's all that happens, is you're a little bit educated, a little bit more inspired, then those of us who come to this podium today, we failed. Because everybody who's come here today, we're here not just to educate you and inspire you, but to move you to action. To move you to action, to do something, to take a step, which is why I brought some postcards.
For being here, and thank you for inviting me to speak. I am one of about 2,500 people around the world that has been trained to give you the slides that I'm going to show you now. They are part of a presentation that was delivered in each time zone around the world, 24 times around the world last October. And it's an update of slides that Al Gore has been showing to audiences since the 1980s. He first showed them on actual slides, including to his fellow U.S. senators, to encourage them to take action on global warming. We've learned a great deal since then. So somewhere, there's a world where bigger floods are not wreaking havoc around the world. Where deeper and longer droughts are not killing our crops, animals, and people.
We have just met Yashi Tenji, is that correct?
Yashi Tenji.
Okay, I'm going to let him say his name. And where are you from, sir?
Actually from India, South India.
South India?
It's Canada based.
Okay.
Kandian Jangti Monastery.
The name of the monastery again?
Yeah, its name is Monastery Kandian Jangti.
Okay. And how long have you been here in the United States?
We already been so for 6 months.
6 months. And is this just a visit, or have you come here to live?
No, we just coming to visit, and then we just coming to here, show exchange cultures, and sharing our cultures.
Good. All right.
Explanation and loving kindness.
And at the conference today, are you going? You and your brothers, are you going to speak or do any kind of a performance, or are you just here to observe?
We're coming here today, and we're going to do some chanting.
You do some chanting.
All peace.
Okay.
All peace. And tomorrow we study. Also during this week we study here making sand mandala.
You're going to make, okay, they're going to make a sand mandala tomorrow.
Yeah, sand mandala.
Okay.
We study tomorrow.
And will that be here at the American Visionary Museum or somewhere else?
Oh, it's museum, yes.
At the museum?
Yes.
Okay. Today, you and your brothers are going to be doing some chanting?
Yes, yes.
And when you chant, this particular chant, does it have a specific purpose? Does it, what does it mean when you will do this chant?
Actually, we do chant, going to pray for a couple different ways. One is we're going to blessing on the way, and one is remove some obstacles and meditations. And one is for we are in the education prayer and the whole peace.
All right, so part of the chanting is going to be to remove obstacles.
Good morning. I'm introducing myself. We are 7 months. We come in South India. Last couple of months ago, 5-6 months, we are coming from South India. We actually in this month. I don't know.
You've heard me call the ocean our planet's blue heart, which I've taken from my friend Sylvia with her permission. And the question that we always ask is, how much of our heart should we protect? Is 1% enough? It doesn't feel like it. It makes our lives possible, it's our life support system, and I think it's probably time to return the favor. Thank you very much.
Just like to remind people that it took all of recorded human history to reach 1 billion people on the planet in 1805. Today, we're at 7 billion plus, having reached that in October. So if we're talking about, I think, the unifying comment from this morning's native speakers, and certainly Dr. Shaw and Mr. Rockinelli, is changing behavior. Very hard to do it when we still sell an old paradigm.
Like this, you can be in peace.